All right, everybody, welcome to another edition of What's What BR. We have probably one of the most recognizable names and brands around, today. We have McDonald's, and we have Chris Krampe from CEO McDonald's, McLaugh, and we have Lisa Musso and Charlotta Thomas. How is everybody?
Wonderful. Thanks for having us.
Doing
Awesome.
great. Thank you.
Thanks for coming on, Chris. Diving into it, I know you guys are super busy, so I appreciate the time. We'll kind of go through. We've got a bunch of information we want to share with everybody, but you guys are busy as all get out. 44 locations, across South Louisiana. Impressive. 44 restaurants. I don't know too many people who can say that they have 44 restaurants, around. So, kind of, what's the state of the union for you guys right now? Kind of, how are things?
So they're good. We are open. Our drive-through, our mobile order pay, and our delivery has been doing really well. People are getting, of course, now a little bit more into our mobile order and pay and delivery, which is good because it's something they hadn't used before as much. And so now they're getting to see that side of the business, and apparently they like it because we're getting them to use it a lot more. We could be busier. A lot of people look at our restaurants and say, oh, they're so busy because there are cars in the drive-thru, but that's all we have open right now. We're looking forward to opening our lobbies. I know some restaurants have opened their lobbies recently. We have not opened our lobbies because at 25% capacity, our capacity in our stores is very limited, and we can only let in maybe 5 to 7 people at a time. And we just felt with having to put people at the door and count people and refusing people to come in, we're going to wait till that gets a little bit bigger for us to do the inside dine-in. Not that we don't want to, we really do, and our restaurants are all nice and clean and ready to go. We're just waiting on what the governor does.
It's like I've been telling everybody, if you don't like the COVID-19 situation, it's like the weather here. Wait 5 minutes, it'll change.
Yeah,
so
exactly. And we want to keep our people safe, and so we're doing all the things. We were the first QSR to put up the Lexan screens in the drive-throughs. We've since put them in our lobbies, knowing that was going to come as well. So we're ready. We've always had the gloves. We have the mask now. We have the hand sanitizer. We have the cleaning solutions for inside the restaurant. So we're ready to go. We're just, we're waiting on being profitable to start letting people back in.
Yeah, sounds like the kind of airport. Hurry up and wait, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Get everything. Sounds like you guys are prepared. So, Lisa, what's happening? You and Charlotte are sitting over there. We've got an awesome banner behind you, the McLaugh. But what's going on kind of in y'all's world over there? I know you're kind of running different sides of things. So, how's things over there?
Well, we're busy. We're just, holding down the fort here in Baton Rouge. We have stores all across South Louisiana. So main office is in Lafayette, and we're here in Baton Rouge. Charlotte is actually from Lafayette. She's there. She's in the training department. So we are just supporting the stores and, anxiously waiting to open.
Yeah, I know the feeling. I think everybody is. So, one of the things I wanted to, bring up is I know, a lot of times, Chris, you wouldn't bring it up, but I, did some digging and found, you guys had, what I think y'all were calling it internally, the hero pay, for staff. Can somebody tell me kind of a little bit more of that, kind of?
So, everybody was doing things for first responders and things outside of their organizations. And we felt that our people were just as big a heroes as everyone else because they were coming to work. They didn't let us down. They're the reasons that we were able to stay open and that we were able to serve all those people. So we came up with this idea. We gave them a 15% raise across the board, and we're going to let them keep it even after, everything gets back to, so-called normal. So we started this hero pay for our heroes in our stores, and we've gotten a tremendous response from it. They're very thankful, and we think it's going to, do really good for us in the long run.
That's amazing. When everybody's, making cuts and furloughing people, you guys went the opposite direction. That's not a small feat, for people who didn't, catch that. We talked in the beginning, that's 44 locations. What is that, what does it take to run, a McDonald's location, as far as staff wise? How many people, is that Is that an easy number to come up with, or does it vary based on volume, those kind of things?
It varies based on volume. I guess you could average maybe 60 employees per restaurant,
Wow.
60, and then you have a management team as well, anywhere from 8 to 10. So, and volume, again, some stores can be down to 40 employees, some can be up to 80.
Wow.
So it just depends. But it's a lot. It's very labor intensive, and as you and I were talking about earlier, when things got serious and we had to start closing things down, it's tough for us to come up with ways to how we're going to keep all these people on and let them keep their jobs. It's kind of tough.
Yeah, and I always, one of the things that I like to talk about and point out, for people and watching the show, is not taking away from the first responders. We talked a little bit about this, but not taking away from our medical staff, and those heroes there, but business owners, and so kind of hats off to you, Chris. You and your team, all of you guys. It's a huge feat, to keep these businesses going. A lot of people are worried about what's going to happen in their lives and how they're going to take care of things personally, but you have those same concerns. I have those same concerns. We all do, but then you multiply that times, it's not just, I'm doing math in my head, I'm in the almost 2,500 people is what I'm thinking. That's a lot of people. And then you take those people, and if each one of those people has, 2 or 3 people that depend, you've got the weight of not just your family, but, I'm near 10,000 people, that are depending, not to mention a public, that needs to be served food on top of that every day.
Right. It is a huge, as you and I talk, it's a huge responsibility. But we have great people. We've had people with incredible tenure with us, Lisa, Charletta, our DO who's been with us, Ken Kastner, for 50 years. I mean, we have an incredible organization that's allowed us to stay open and allowed us to keep going. And they do a wonderful job each and every day. And we probably don't thank them enough as well either. But that's why we've been successful and we've been able to stay open.
That's awesome. Well, Lisa, one of the things, I've also heard you guys were not only feeding general public, and I guess first responders are general public, but you guys were doing meals, for these guys, as well. You mind telling me a little bit about, how that story goes?
Right. Well, originally we started in South Louisiana across all McDonald's. We're giving free combo meals we started at the end of March, giving free combo meals to first responders, healthcare, everyone. And actually prior to that, we did do police and firefighters in all of our stores. Then starting in March, we just added first responders, added the healthcare. And then starting at the end of April 22nd, McDonald's took it on nationally. And for 2 weeks, all McDonald's across the whole country gave free combo meals to first responders, healthcare, everything. So, Chris, I think you have the numbers. We did 44,000 just in our stores, I believe.
Yeah.
So if you want
to the tune of over $300,000 that we gave away in meals, it was incredible. We got a lot of response from it, all positive, and it was just our way of giving back to the community. That's
amazing. So 44,000 to 300,000, and that's the stories that not everybody knows. People, are sitting there thinking you guys are just, jam-packed, there's cars in the drive-through, but, that's still, maybe some of that was being given away. People don't realize, all the stories and what goes on behind the scenes to make all this actually work and the good things that are happening. It's not just about we're keeping restaurants, open and we're, running stuff out. We're trying to give back to the community, at the same time. That's in kind of jumping, there, Charlotte, you worked through, you got a special role, over there. You're not, kind of dealing inside the restaurants and, and that, side of day to day, I'm assuming all day, but tell me, what is it you're doing?
Okay, well, as the training supervisor for McLaughlin Incorporated, my role is to ensure that our staff receive the necessary resourceful tools for their development, and then as well as providing the information that they need to be successful. in their role. So starting with crew orientation, all the way through development of crew trainers to managers that want to be department managers, as well as general managers and supervisors. So that is the role that I play with the organization.
And that's got to be pretty critical, because I'm thinking about, no matter which, restaurant you go to, it's the same consistent experience, across
Yes.
the board. And that comes from training, not
Yes.
from we accidentally just kind of do it the same way.
And with McDonald's having to adapt with COVID-19, that's the word, adapting to this change, this new norm, especially when we're going to go back to reopening our lobbies.
I was going to ask, I've asked most everybody that's been on the show, as business owners, we all have, an IT, a data backup plan. We have a disaster recovery plan. And, down in South Louisiana, we all have the hurricane plan. What do we do? I have yet to talk to anybody that had a pandemic plan. Was that in training anywhere? Did you guys have, what's the playbook here? It seems like everybody had like.
McDonald's did develop a plan, and that was us networking daily as well as weekly webinars on a national level. So daily we would meet with the lead team. That would be supervisors, managers, directors of operation. And then if we had to make some changes, well, by the next minute or the next hour, that information was cascaded down to our staff. So weekly, we would meet with the national organization to see if there's anything that we can incorporate to also put with the Make a Laugh organization.
Awesome. And that's getting that information downline, 2,000 plus, people, funneling that through, is that, how you, I guess the question is, what I found out from talking to a lot of people, these are guidelines that are being, passed down, but they're not rules. They're not, there's no checkbox. Nobody got a sheet that said, here's how, to run a McDonald's, or here's how to do it. Check these boxes. It was like, here's some guidelines, some things you follow, figure it out, is kind of what I've heard.
And as Chris mentioned, because we have a legacy of tenured individuals, tenured staff, a great dynamic leadership team, this is how we were able to cascade that information down. We have different platforms. We have an ourlounge.com platform that we can talk to our staff. There are different types of group me texting that we can also obtain. So we were really efficient and effective in making sure that information was cascaded down.
Awesome.
Brandon, Charletta's being really modest. She does a lot more for us when her as a training supervisor and Chris Stroud, who's the other training supervisor, are responsible for training those 2,000 plus employees. They do an awful lot, and they do it really well. Again, that's one of the reasons why we've been successful. And then in handling these things, like you mentioned earlier, a lot of places around the U.S. don't have hurricanes, so they're not used to big events that they have to regroup really quick and kind of learn on the fly and take care of business while all these other things are going on. Fortunately or unfortunately for us, we've done it a lot down here in South Louisiana. So I think we were a lot better able to handle this pandemic than most people, because they're not used to dealing with things such as a hurricane or a big tragic event that we're used to doing. So it did help us somewhat.
Yeah, I've talked with a number of people. It's, we're all going to get to write some really cool books, right? We've all been through tornadoes, hurricanes, floods, pandemics. We're going to have some great stories. We've been through it all, but I think that has helped us, in South Louisiana, because we're used to our lives being uprooted and, kind of, I don't want to say put on hold, but having to adapt, whether it be a flood or if it was a storm, we're used to those kind of things. I'm sure you guys went through, flooding and all the different storms, and how do you reopen and where do you mobilize teams and how do you communicate, where I've talked to some people that, middle America, they just have never been through anything like, they're just like dumbfounded. They have no idea what to do, at this point. So, but with that, and to go back to that team a little bit, and one of the things, I was doing some research beforehand, and I wanted to make sure, people knew this isn't just, a job. that people can jump into, these 2,000 plus, people, some of the, the younger kids, they're, you guys have opportunities for them from, getting diplomas, to, going, college, tuition assistance, those kind of things. Can somebody tell me a little bit about that? I think I'll admit I didn't know it all beforehand, and kind of researching and going, there's a lot more happening, just like nobody knew you're giving away, 45,000 meals, what is that program? It's just amazing to me that, you can help, some of these kids, through this, or some of the adults through this, for that matter.
So it's been both. It's been kids and adults. I'll speak to it, and then I'll let Charlotta, the subject matter expert, get on it. But, recently we've hired a lot. Like in the last 3 weeks, we probably hired, Charlotta, almost 300 people?
300 people at our Lafayette office and 400 people at our Baton Rouge office. Yes.
Because not everybody's getting, all the high school kids and college kids aren't getting checks. So they want to work and they want to make money. So, and we need people. We're busy. Of course, we could be busier, but so we've gotten a lot of people in the stores. But the Archways piece came about. McDonald's started years ago down the path. They wanted to become the leader in workforce education. And originally, there wasn't a lot of money put behind it. And our employees had to work for us for over a year to be eligible. And there was just a lot of variables, and it didn't take off. Then McDonald's stepped up. They put a lot of money behind it. And it has 4 different parts. It has English under the arches, where people can learn English if they do not know English, where McDonald's sets that up and sets up classes for them to learn English. It has an advising piece where students can get free advising. And just recently, McDonald's opened it up to their entire family. So if you're an employee of McDonald's, you can call this number and get advising, career advising, college advising. And your family, if your parents or your siblings are interested in going back to school or want to know some information about it, they can call that line, and it's free for them as well. We have the high school diploma program, where our employees, while they're working, can get a high school diploma for free. And then we have the college tuition program, where our employees, after working for us for only 90 days, and they're in good standing, are eligible for college tuition. In some of the cases, their out-of-pocket money for that college tuition is so minimal, and Charlotta will speak about that, that they can almost get their college diploma through us for free, whether it's online, and it doesn't just have to be college. They can go to if someone wants to learn welding or a trade school. The Archways money is available for all those people. So when this came out, Charlotta and I and our organization really got behind this, because it's been just a wonderful tool for us to recruit people that normally wouldn't come to work for us, and to let people know, this wonderful tool is out there for them as well. So we went around, did radio spots, TV spots, talking about Archways. And so many people contacted us, organizations. We did a program here at South Louisiana Community College, SLCC. They came in and said, hey, we want to partner with y'all. We don't want y'all just to have Archways for your students. We're going to give, if your student comes to SLCC, we'll give them an additional $500 per semester. So they're eligible for $2,500 through McDonald's. And then SLCC is giving them an additional $1,000 as well. And they come out of pocket, make hardly any money, and they can get a great college education. And let me tell you, these students that are in any of our programs through Archways are great students, because they have to be in good standing to receive their benefits. And every student that we've had gone through the program, whether they stayed with us or not, I consider that turnover to be good turnover. If they've gone through the Archways program and got their degrees and moved on to something else, that's great. But a lot of them have stayed with us, and it's just an amazing testimony to our organization and the things that McDonald's does for its people. So That being said, I probably went a little too long, but it's a wonderful program. I wish more people knew about it. And Charlotta can now, so Charlotta, she doesn't just teach things in classes. She becomes a subject matter expert. She does that she went in and did the Archways program herself so that she can talk to people about it and tell them about it without just saying, oh, it's a great thing, you should try it. And so she did the program herself, and I'll let her talk about it. She can tell you exactly how it worked and how she did it.
All right, thank you, Chris. Well, yeah, being a subject matter expert, I have to go through things to figure it out. Not only that, but to help all candidates that are interested in the Archways to Opportunity program. So as Chris mentioned, I went on ahead and logged in to Archways to obtain a bachelor's degree in business administration. Now you have to remember I'm in my 50s.
No.
With that,
Lies. Fake news.
Currently 57. So with that, but when I did apply, I applied at age 55. And I was trying to find out what is the simplicity, but yet what was the hard work that it was going to take to get that
hurdle.
Yes, the hurdles. Well, McDonald's, as a manager, you were able to obtain the credits as that manager and turn those into college credits. So I walked in as a sophomore going into college. Yes, sir. With no other college background. So I had some banking industry courses as well as some McDonald's courses, and they turned that into 24 credits, and that was my benchmark. So moving forward, it took me about a year and a half to get a bachelor's degree in business admin. Now, to some people, work-life balance is very important. This program is a work-life balance program. Why? Because you have the options of one, you can go to a brick and mortar school like ULL, LSU, Southern, BRCC, SLCC, or your choice could be online. And my choice became online. Now, that particular program, Colorado Technical University, offered as well 43% tuition discount on top of that $2,500. And in management, they received $3,000. So guess what? Where am I at now? 75%? Doesn't that sound intriguing? Then that
sounds like I made some wrong decisions, along the way.
Doesn't that want to make you go back to school? Well, that was the open door. I could not let that pass. And they offered a computer so you can go to school online. This is what I'm passionate about. This is the information that we pass out at orientation. So when you are newly hired, going through the processes of onboarding, when you come to see us, we are passionate about telling you about the educational opportunities that you have. Whether you have a high school diploma or not, and you can obtain that for free. And if you want to go to college, obtain an associate's degree, a bachelor's degree, and master's degree. And we've had them all participate. In fact, for the year of 2019, you ready for this? 116 applicants were paid nearly $250,000 in tuition assistance. Just for the year of 2019, within our 44 restaurants. Do the math.
That's incredible.
As of this year, 2019-2020 class, we're already approaching the $100,000 mark. That's phenomenal. So are we talking loud and proud about it? Yes, we are.
I sure would. I don't think there's too many people who can say that. So,
Brandon, our organization is in the Dallas region, which is a pretty big region. And we are the top Archways participant organization in the entire Dallas region. I think we're probably double what the next organization is in Archways usage. And like Charlotte talked about, so year to date, just this year, we've had 47 participants already sign up at a tune of $97,000, almost $100,000 just this year. So it's just incredible. And we celebrate with our people that go through the program and get a degree. We do a thing, have a little service for them here at one of our
Graduation
offices
party.
here in Baton
Yeah, we
Rouge.
celebrate with them.
Yeah, and we celebrate
And
with them,
that's
and
school
because it's a
or
big,
college grad.
that's right, and it's a big deal for some of these people. You know, some of these people are never got the chance to get their high school degree, and you know, had to start life a little sooner than they wanted to, and now through this program, you know, and 3 of the 4 programs are free for them. So it's just been incredible.
That's an amazing story. So it's more than, and I guess the takeaway for anybody who's not connecting the dots, you know, it's, you know, join the McLaughlin family. You know, it's not just a job that's going to get you through the summer. You know, this can be a full-blown career path. You know, this can get you startup if you had, like you said, jump start on life, you know, and you need to finish up, you know, that high school diploma. You're not stopping there. You can keep, you know, and obviously this is, Charlotte, you know, mentioned work-life balance, you know, to where you can do the school, you know, and work. So it's not, you know, this isn't a surprise, you know, to maybe some other employer who's kind of like, oh, you're working here, now you've got to go, oh, you signed up to go take classes. And it's like, no, you signed up with us to go take classes. We knew this was coming. We'll work with you on schedules and shifts and, you know, different, those kind of things.
Right, so we do a big push for Archways, usually right before the summer, because as high school kids or college kids get out for the summer, if they come and work for us for the summer for those 3 months, after those 3 months, then they're eligible for Archways to go back to school. And then there you go. They're you know, they're out there. They get a lot more money in their pocket, not only just for working for us, but through the benefits through Archways. So it's just been a wonderful program.
That's amazing. So I'm just kind of running this tab, you know, in my head, you know, of, you know, nearly $100,000 already this year, you know, $300,000 worth of, you know, food given away, you know, thousands of employees. This is a much bigger machine, you know, than what people think when they drive down, you know, the street and they go, oh, it's the McDonald's and they've got a couple people, you know, working a drive-through. You guys have got an incredible story, you know, that's going on, you know, there.
And we have a lot of things going on, Brandon, but a lot of people, you know, they see the brand and they think it's just the big company, McDonald's. But, you know, most of these stores, you know, 90% of the stores are locally owned, which, you know, people don't make that connection a lot. They just think of brand McDonald's. But behind that brand is local people and local staffs. And so sometimes they don't always make that connection, but it's a very important connection that they should know about.
And yeah, and that's, you know, a lot of people, I'm glad you brought it up. I was going to, you know, it is a national brand, but you guys are here. You know, everybody, you know, on this call is in South Louisiana, you know, Baton Rouge or Lafayette. You know, we're here, you know, and it's not just about, you know, there's logistics that you guys are, you know, having to work through. You know, it's, you know, getting food, you know, it's, you know, getting the trucks, you know, you guys got a whole distribution site, you know, you got to run, you know, it's not just a restaurant, I guess is what I'm getting to, where normally you might have somebody who has a small business, has a small, you know, bistro or something of that nature, and they run and, you know, they pick up, you know, some of the stuff, their supplies, but you guys are moving supplies, 18-wheeler loads, you know, pushing this out. So it's not just, you know, a kid working a register and a guy back, you know, on a fryer, you know, it's logistics, it's managers, it's, you know, huge teams of, you know, how do we open these restaurants? You know, how do we keep, you know, feeding people? You know, this is, and I don't think people realize all that goes into that. So
yeah, and we're feeding, you know, in somewhere around the neighborhood of 1,500 meals per day per restaurant, or 1,500, you know, guests. So it's pretty amazing when you think about that, not just in our organization, but around the world through McDonald's, how many people that is that we're touching every day.
that is an incredible number. I keep doing, I go back to math, you know, I hear 1,500 and I'm going times 44. That's a lot of food, you know, going out to people. Yeah. And it's, you know, it's a huge responsibility that, you know, sometimes people they just think it's, oh, well, you know, okay, that's a lot of food, but we've got to make sure, you know, we're controlling, you know, waste. We've got to make sure that, you know, things stay the right temperature, you know, that we get them, you know, do we get enough, you know, fries to this location? Do we have enough, you know, I don't think I've ever been to a McDonald's and they've gone, oh, we're out of meat, you know, or we're out of fry. You know, somebody's got to make those decisions, you know.
Well, don't say that yet, because they are rationing our meat because of all the meat plants. So they are having problems with that. We've never had to say that before, but you know, knock on wood, we hope we never have to say it. But that is a challenge right now for us because of the problems with the meat plants and because of the amount of meat that we serve. So we'll see how that goes.
I heard a rumor about that, but I didn't know that it was actually a thing. That there was possibly some meat shortage. And
Right, that'll
but I
be with
guess
everybody. That won't just be with with McDonald's. That's going to be with everybody that serves, ground meat. It's just been a problem for everybody throughout the country.
yeah, that's I think what a lot of people haven't realized during this whole experience, this COVID-19, that we've hit a lot of waves, and everybody made the joke, about toilet paper. But, as I was telling people, it's like, it's one thing if they might have the toilet paper, but if the supply chain doesn't have, the cellophane wrap, to put around it, it's not going to show up on the shelf, for you. That there's a lot of things, we've had ports closed down for an incredibly long time, we'll start feeling that at some point, and then it's going to turn into, how do we train to do this? How do we, what's the next step? So it's going to be, I think we've got a lot, coming down the pipe, but you guys from the outside haven't skipped a beat, from what I can see.
We've been truly blessed because we were able to stay open and we were deemed essential, and we got to keep doing the things that we do. And, Charlotta talked about the credit she received from some of it. So, you talked about it's not easy to run these locations. And you have to go through management training that Charlotta was talking about. And that training gets applied to college credits because it's that much training and that much information that those managers need to do for the products and for the store and for everything running right that they have to learn and know about. So that kind of answers that question that Charlotta was talking about earlier about how she got those credits through college through going through some of the management programs she went through with McDonald's.
That's amazing. How have you guys seen, this? I've been with the different technical, tech companies I've been involved with. I've used Zoom. We're on Zoom right now. I've used Zoom for years. And I used to make the joke that I could Zoom with anybody as long as they were not in Louisiana because they just didn't get it. I would talk to somebody and be like, hey, you want to jump on Zoom? And they'd be like, no. But I'd talk to, some people I do some work with in, New York, and these were, tech companies, and oh yeah, let's just jump on Zoom. We do it. It's amazing now. I can, meet with anybody. We jump on Zoom. I don't have to say anything. I just say, I'll send you a link. We jump on, and the business world's evolved there. But have you seen an adoption rate? You guys, I was looking, I can actually order from an app, on the phone now, pay for it, and then just go swing through and pick it up. Is that being adopted, quickly, or what are you guys seeing?
Lisa, you can talk to that on mobile order pay.
Yeah, that's what we, with the lobbies not open, and we definitely have seen an increase in mobile order and pay, which is the app. So customers can go on their phone, they can order, they can pay if they have, they have to have their credit card tied to that. They pay. They can either go through the drive-through or they can pull up in a designated location and just text, hey, I'm here, and tell them what spot they're in, and they will bring the food out to them. So it's minimal touch. It's just, the food, they bring them the bag and they're on their way. So it makes it quick and easy. And so that is an option as far as ordering, or you can go through the drive-through, or as we said earlier, a lot of people have delivery. McDelivery is McDonald's delivery, but we have Uber Eats in some stores. We have DoorDash in stores. We have Waiter in a lot. Most of the Lafayette stores have Waiter. We have a couple of stores here with Waiter, and then we most recently added Postmates. So you have a lot of options for ordering. That you don't even have to come to the store for those, you get it delivered to your house. So a lot of options, and it's, I think people are now more aware that we do have those options, whereas before, we had them, they just weren't as used. Now it's definitely more usage with the COVID.
I lean towards
Brandon, speaking of the Zoom meetings, I've never Zoomed so much in my life. And as of recently, so we have Zoom meetings with our organization. We have Zoom meetings with the national does a call every week. They were doing it twice a week. Thank God they went down to once a week. And then we do with our region, the Dallas region does a call as well once a week. And then I'm the lead for the people team for the Dallas region. So we have calls once a week, and then we got to get our team together on a call, and we have a presentation actually next week on a Zoom call. So it's just been unbelievable, but it's what we have to do right now anyway.
It's worked. It's done.
And to
It's been
include that,
amazing.
we're going to have training as well virtually.
Virtual training orientation, and here's how
Virtual training with our managers in the shift leadership role. So that we're excited about.
So McDonald's just started that as well. Of course, seeing the need that we didn't want to stop training because, training is a big part of our organization and McDonald's philosophy. And so Charlotta signed herself up for the training too, just to make sure that it was the training that we need in case she needs to tweak it some to get it to our managers to make sure they're getting what they need. It's
amazing. We've used it. I've done it, with clients, we've Zoomed, we record them, we save them, we actually, we found a plug-in to where we record everything, into Zoom, and then Zoom, the little plug-in will take it and automatically stick it into our Google Drive, account. And so we just name it and it automatically just moves. And so it's an archive. It's a reference to go back, what did we say? I don't take notes, anymore. I can just go back and listen to it if I need to. So and I like the fact that we're there. It's always tell everybody, go buy your stock when it becomes a verb. And you did it yourself. You went and said, we Zoom. So now, is the time to go jump onto Zoom. It's really been great. On the delivery side of things, is that, are y'all seeing more and more people picking up, or doing the delivery? You got McDelivery, Uber Eats, DoorDash, Postmates, right? 4 different, services that are going there. Are people leaning towards one more or the other, or is it just they're just all going, crazy? So I'll let Lisa speak, but we started with Waiter before they were even doing, because Waiter was here in South Louisiana. They actually approached us about doing it, and we weren't too sure about it at first, but they were a big player, whereas Uber Eats and some of the other ones at the time were not big players in South Louisiana. So Waiter, our numbers at Waiter were incredible. The amount of meals we were serving out. As a matter of fact, we used to keep a running total on our computer screen here, and I was looking at it one day, and I see an order come through that's a friend of mine that works right down the street, and he was ordering something at the time. I said, "Hey, what are you doing?" He said, I needed something for lunch, and instead of me running, to one of the stores, he said, I just called and had them deliver it. And then since then, and now with the pandemic, people don't want to get out, so it's just blown up, and hopefully it'll just keep going, because it is a great way for people that don't have access to it to get food and to get it safe and fast. Lisa works a lot and looks at the numbers a lot in regards to all the numbers of the different carriers.
Right. Yeah. So to Chris's point, Uber was the first national one. McDelivery is kind of the umbrella that all of these vendors fall under. So, we advertise it with McDonald's as McDelivery, but under that umbrella is nationally is Uber Eats and DoorDash and now Postmates for us here. So of the three, DoorDash has definitely taken off. It's been the numbers have probably quadrupled what we were doing before. Uber's doing well. It has also increased. I think people associate Uber more with rides than they do with I'm not sure if they're as familiar with Uber Eats. And then Postmates just came on like about 2 weeks ago. So, but yeah, it has increased significantly since the beginning of the pandemic. I mean, people are just not getting out, with people staying at home. It has been a big jump in those numbers as far as what we're doing locally, and I'm sure national, and those are all national vendors. McDonald's across the whole country use some or all of those vendors as far as delivery, but it's more not in all of our stores, because some of the outlying ones don't have the drivers and the networking to be able to do the delivery. So it's not in all 44 stores, it's not in all McDonald's across the whole country, but where they can do it, they do the delivery.
That's meant every time I've telling somebody the other day, they have the little notes, for if you have comments when you do your order. I always tell them that I order an additional fry and put it in a separate bag and tell the driver it's for them. So they don't, because I think it's impossible for somebody to mentally, go pick up an order and have McDonald's fries on the passenger seat of the car and not reach into the bag. I think it's impossible. So I always order an extra fry and tell them to put it in a separate bag.
We have to
So,
share that.
I think that's my trick, at least.
Yeah.
I think the food gets there quicker, and maybe it's just me, but
That'll
And you
save you a
leave
few
your
fries.
because if I was driving and doing it, I would just. I don't know anybody. Is it possible to not just reach over and grab a couple?
Well,
when they're sitting on the seat?
everything is sealed, and there is a procedure for them as far as doing all the delivery stuff. So it is all sealed, but that's an awesome idea.
And work. Well, look, I think we've covered, an incredible amount of information and learned a whole lot more that you guys are doing, Chris and your team, Charlotte, everybody. It's a lot more than the restaurant that people drive by and pass. This is, jobs, this is careers, this is families, this is, education, this is helping, the community. This is a lot. This is I just can't say it again. It's a huge machine, that's got to keep going. And we appreciate you guys, for, sticking with it. And maybe it could have been easier just to say, we're going to put a pause on all this, but it's, there's a lot happening, over there. And I'm sure you guys have got a lot of things to do. So.
Yes, we do. But we want to, thanks for having us on and letting us, tell our story that doesn't get told a lot. And it helps us to get out there and let people know exactly what we're doing and know that we're part of the communities that we serve. And we give back and we do everything we can to shine the arches and to look good in the communities. And we don't get a chance to tell that a lot because we're really busy. So we thank you for this opportunity and we really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, I'd love to hear, kind of once you guys get full, steam and the doors back open, have you guys come back on and tell us, because that's a whole nother road, Charlotte, right? That's a whole nother, like a reopening, and how are we going to do it? And what's it going to be?
The new normal.
Yeah.
The new normal.
The new norm. Somebody said it the other day, and I just had to pause and look at them. They told me, they were like, I'm ready for things to get back to normal. And I just looked, I was like,
It's going to be
it's not.
Yes. Yeah.
This is your new normal, but yeah, I'd love to have you guys come back, kind of, when, once you got it open, and everybody's going back in to hear, kind of what were some of those stories, how it worked, how many of these, we just talked about it, 300 Lafayette, 400 people, just got brought on. You got to train 700 people in the middle of a pandemic, that we were talking about right here. Going online to Zoom to do things, that's just incredible feats. So hats off to you guys.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Well, if there's anything, I'm missing, let me know. But I think you guys, it's 11:30, it's almost lunchtime. I think everybody's got to go grab some food. I've been staring at the McDonald's logo, for a while here. If there wasn't anything subconscious there. So.
Yeah. When things get open up and going, Brandon, I'd love to come there and go to lunch one day and we can talk about some other things and maybe look at some of the stuff we're doing as well.
Absolutely. And look, I appreciate, for anybody who doesn't know, you mentioned, supporting local and, helping the community, kind of for my own shameless plug, July for, Parents Magazine will be 30 years. And you guys have partnered with us from the very first issue on our inside front cover, that publication for the Parents publication, for 30 years. Never missed a single one, always supported all of our events. That's just, it's incredible. There's not too many people. There's a couple others, advertisers we've had and partners that's been with us, but that speaks a lot, so we appreciate, that from you guys and all the support you've given us and everything you've done for the community as well. So, and definitely I will put it down in my book and hold you to it, and we'll go grab some lunch. So,
thank you so much.
awesome. Thank you guys.
Okay.
Thank you.
Charlotte, Chris, thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right.